Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to some more GitGud. This time on the EU side, I'm Simbabble, joined here by Soav Danom, and we've got quite the matchup for you here tonight. We've got the intermediate section of GitGud. We've got LavaLillies facing off against Project SBD. Soav, it's good to be here. I'm ready to go. Are you ready to go? Ooh, we don't have audio for Sam on my end, at least.
That's my fault.
There we
my
go.
fault. We're good. I have myself muted. Great start, you know. But I'm excited. I'm excited because this is two teams that are both undefeated coming into this match. So that means somewhere down this line, someone's going home with an L that really doesn't want to. So I expect both these teams to be playing to their peak to keep that from being them.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to Lijiang Tower first, and if you are familiar already with GG, we will have a loser's pick system. But I mean, Lijiang, one of the fan favorites, certainly one of mine. The only issue that I am seeing potentially is for LavaLillies, who like to run their double bubble. Now, obviously on Control Center, you might have a little bit of a problem with that, so might test LavaLillies' flexibility going into Lijiang.
Yeah, if they really aren't up to snuff on that kind of a brawl comp, if they're not used to dealing with those kinds of Ryan sim rushes that you do tend to see here, they're going to struggle because you can just easily just get punished by that Winston coming in. And if once your bubbles just get pushed right out, there's not much you can do to keep your monkey alive and keep that frontline pressure up. So we'll have to see what they've learned through these meta changes as they're going through sim.
Yeah, it'll be super interesting. And I mean, Ryan did get himself a little nerf going into this patch. So, I mean, there might be something to be said for the double bubble just being that little bit stronger numerically that might push it over the line. But taking a look at Project SBD, they do look like they're happy to run more of a standardized comp, although their main tank's favorite or most played hero is the Wrecking Ball. So there's a chance we might not see Brawl at all as we head into Lijiang Tower.
There's a good chance we see this double bubble versus, say, that more like pick-oriented ball diva comp we've kind of seen. Maybe we get something even wild like the Shangdu like pharmacy ball that has worked when you play it well. So I'm excited to see what we get because as much as I love my Reinhardt, I love seeing these other tanks and these other interesting strategies come out too.
Yeah, 100%. I believe both teams are almost ready to go, so we're going to hop in just a second. As I said, it is loser's pick as well, and we have got a map pool to choose from for both teams. But as Soav's already highlighted, both these teams are 2-0 coming to this series, so it is kind of all on the line for these undefeated teams so far. Certainly going to be interesting as we head to Lijiang Tower.
It's still early in these kind of the seasons, but, you know, no one wants to go towards the end of this tournament with a loss on their board. You want to stay in this as long as you can, being at the top of this. And both these teams have to prove that they're ready to come out and play this. Mikra gonna go on the ball. Looks like that's about Winner. Winner also on the ball, and it looks like both these teams are gonna favor that. With the main difference being a Falcon on the sim there. So that's gonna be a big difference to see who gets there faster and sets up a little bit better. Lesbian over on the far. We're gonna see that pharmacy kind of similar to Shangdu. And let's see how that does here, with those open skies and the wide versus that sim teleporter.
Yeah, well, the sim teleport is out immediately, but LavaLillies do not have possession of the point. That's Project SBD's for the time being. LavaLillies just stepping a toe on the point, trying to stabilize a little bit, but both of these comps so very poke heavy here, so it's not even a fight breaking out, and Klee goes down to Nova immediately. Pretty rough start there for the pokey comp on the point, and that is going to be the opening for LavaLillies to go in. Winner, on the other hand, will find a pick onto Lastro. Just the mercy healing available now for SBD, and the point is unlocked and will be captured by SBD, but only a matter of time before LavaLillies come storming on the point like hyenas and vultures, just cleaning up those kills, and the flip comes through pretty quickly, actually.
They were able to get kind of that quick pick, and even though Nova's got big burst damage in that Junkrat, there's not anybody to really focus out besides the Wrecking Ball, who you're kind of focusing on that too. And once you don't have that Junkrat there to kind of maintain the space a little better versus that ball, the Pharah has just free reign to run in, right? So with the trance coming in from Zuardo, it's going to be big to see how late they can save from using that. If you're LavaLillies to go into this next fight. As those changes come in, Falcon going to go over to the McCree, get a little pressure onto the Pharah, and Klee going to go to that. As the window comes out on the side of Blastro, and early immortality builds in.
Yeah, but the pressure coming out, actually, next over there coming out, and SBN pushing in, finds a pick, winner with the minefield, takes out Falcon. Now, SBD gonna have to really rethink their strategy coming into this push. I mean, there's just no help for Mikra on that Wrecking Ball when they actually go for that dive. They seem a little on an island at the moment.
It's tough. I don't know about the Baptiste as support for the ball when they go in, right? You do have to, you can like launch your healing grenades in there and keep them up, but it's very tough because you just never know where they're going to be. So it may not be the right call, but Lastro's making it work pretty well. But the 5 ultimates on the side and Klee's pulse bomb might have something to say about that, Sam.
Well, it certainly does against Lastro low. Nemo Talency Field comes out. Barrage as well onto Falcon. A remake kill goes through onto Nova. Unbelievable demonstrations from the LavaLillies. Now, they are just pounding their opposition into the ground and doing it in quite stylish fashion with that remake elimination. Looking very good, and this might be a stagger. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be. Klee wants to get that kill nice and quick. There will be a touch coming through from SBD, but 90% on the point. Someone has to get there to contest now.
It's going to be the last chance. And they won that fight, the LavaLillies, without even spending their support ultimate, so they had it coming into this last kind of minute brawl. And Nova's going to fall early, and that's going to be a lot of damage out of Simdabble. So that's going to be tough as the bomb comes in from Ox. He catches 1 in Turda, but may not be enough as the numbers have already fallen. That's going to be that 1.
Yeah, what a demonstration coming out from LavaLillies. Wonderfully played from them to just keep that pressure up with the aid of the Wrecking Ball, the Tracer, and the Zenyatta there to just dive in harmony, pardon the pun, with the Discord Orb. The Ball and the Tracer doing so much work there, so...
100%. And that's the thing is I addressed the Baptiste a little earlier, and usually you want to run the Zenyatta with this, right? Discord Orb is very good at helping provide, you know, targets for your Wrecking Ball to burn down a little bit faster, keeping your ball up. You don't have to keep that constant eye on them if they roll out of your sight. And the Baptiste is a kind of a weird choice because if you lose line of sight, there's just no healing for your main tank. It looks like LavaLillies is going to go over to the Brawl and Lesbian over on the Doomfist, a little bit of that Doomfist Brawl that we're used to. And SBD is going to keep this poke comp with the Junkrat, and we'll have to see who's going to get isolated out by this Brawl Simba.
Yes, certainly less room to work with for SBD, but they do, you know, have the unilateral threat of LavaLillies. They can only go one way, and Nova already picking up Lesbian there, sending her back to spawn. Klee is going to have to get some work done on this McCree now, but is being hounded and harassed. Causes the immortality field. Hilda does find a pick, but Klee will go down shortly thereafter. Winner does take out that Diva nonetheless, and it's thinning numbers for either side on this point right now. This is where Project SBD might have the upper hand of the surrounding counter coming in clutch. That being said, Lastro will get taken out, and Lesbian's back on the field, finds Nova. Numbers are turning now for the LavaLillies, who unfortunately for SBD don't even get point presence before it's flipped in their favor.
It was a longer fight than maybe you wanted if you're LavaLillies, but you stayed together well on that brawl and you kept yourself available to, you know, peel for each other. You could see even Winner having to turn around and go back and take out Alex there, and that was so big as Alex is just going to reset that and go right back to spawn. They're going to give up the spaces to come in. Zuardo's window going to have to be big here for LavaLillies to keep them going because there's so many things on the other side from SBD coming in, Simba.
He died really early on there. No Baptiste here for LavaLillies, and they just give up the space immediately. Klee does find Falcon, though. Perhaps an overextension from the Pharah right now. The contestant is still alive and kicking Hilda. And Baby Divathorn, Lesbian clapping back and finding one, but Nova puts the nail in the coffin with 2. Make that 3 kills from the Junkrat. Riptire doing just that. Rest in peace, LavaLillies. SBD, they're still committing ults, however, to this. The flip is through. Hilda will go down to the self-destruct, but certainly more than SBD wanted to use there.
Yeah, I don't know about that bomb. You might want that back because that's going to be big in this next fight when all you have is this barrage and you have only...
And minefields used,
yeah,
so...
Yeah, they used a lot there. There was just...
Yeah.
They spent a lot for that with only this barrage to keep them up versus 4 on the other side, including sound barrier to just negate that. This is going to be a tough ask for SBD to hold on to.
Well, Winner going down is sure a good start for SBD. Now, Lesbian's got one hell of a task, though. Sets their sights on the Farah and then uses better judgment to get up on out of there. Klee does find 2, though, and Turta also picking up a pick of their own. The beat comes through just to contest now from SBD. Self-destruct takes out Asmodeus, and that surely is going to be enough for LavaLillies to cut this back. A lot closer, however, now from Project SBD than we saw in the first one.
I wonder if Blastro is just getting off of Lucio there. You were already down 3 players and you committed Sound Barrier into that. It was kind of a questionable choice. And it didn't even really negate anything because there's still 4 ultimates on the side of LavaLillies. And they're going to come into that Baptiste window, the Amplification Matrix, soon as far as this fight starts. So it's going to be a tough class to push back into this as the picks just start falling already, Simba.
Beautiful display from the DPS of LavaLillies to just shut this fight down before it's even begun, and they've given themselves an opportunity at final fight now, right off the back of just finding a pick apiece. And Project SBD backed into a corner now. Someone's got to touch. It's gonna be scrappy, and yeah, I mean they've got no real opportunity to get there. Merca's gonna have to use their minds to create some space and go.
Yeah, meanwhile, you still have Lesbian just in the face of SBD, and they're not even going to let him get there. The mines are going to come out early, so is the Barrage, and they're going to have to take this fight aggressively and take out Winner to even get to point to touch it, Simba.
Klee check their watch, and it's high noon. Finds the Farah Mercy in the sky. Merca's not done, and neither's Nova, however, and will find picks themselves. The Riptide comes out in desperation now from Nova as Merca doing a lot of the heavy lifting on this Wrecking Ball. Will flip the point back in SBD's favor, but LavaLillies just need one fight now, Soav.
Yeah, it's one fight. You got a couple of chances at this, and you don't really have anything in your... You're going to come into that Diva Bomb, that self-destruct, but that may be enough alone, considering there's, well, only a Diva Bomb and the Sound Barrier on the other side of SBD. So if you place it well and you time it right in the mid-fight, you might be able to get that as a winning point here, Simba.
Could be, but this is a nice rotation from LavaLillies to get into a prime position for this self-destruct to get some work done. Playing it slow, it's all to play for. Lesbian opening up the doors wide open. Will fall, however, gets that pick on a Nova. Now, it's Alex's turn with the self-destruct. He sends it on top of the ledge. Such an unlucky turret placement, self-destruct placement. Klee does find a pick, however, will go down, and scrappy it is indeed now. SBD coming out on top as Micah will put down those mines and set their territory up as both tanks for LavaLillies very, very low. A push to the back of the head finishes off Hilda and Winner now. And LavaLillies are scrambling so up, but unless Lesbian comes up real big, this is looking SBD all the way.
Noon's coming in from Klee. It's going to have to do something huge here to make it work, and nothing. So that looks like that's going to be the end of that. And, you know, Alex's bomb there did miss. It caught the ledge, but really it did everything it wanted to do, right? It scattered and it broke apart this huge death ball, right? So it enabled everybody to go in, find these individual picks, and you could see it there. They found Klee on that McCree, then they were able to get Zordo, and they were just able to isolate these picks. So even though you didn't get the real value you're looking for, it really was the key thing you needed to flip that map in your favor. And now here we are on 3, and this is just the homes for Forest. So I look forward to see a great pharmacy duel here up in the sky.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like both teams running out with the Farah, but LavaLillies seem to have a slightly more comprehensive comp. I assume Turta is going to swap over to the Mercy after speed boosting everyone out, but if Project SBD run out with Lucio Moira for Wrecking Ball, I'm not a fan here. So I'm just going to say it, not a fan.
No, you're fighting a 2v1 at that point, and maybe it's because you're not putting your resources into your Farah on Falcon. Maybe you're expecting to swap them back to 3. But it worked, whatever it did. You're pushing and you're taking the space. Merca on that Wrecking Ball is really keeping them back, and it's buying them the space to contest the point and maybe isolate those picks first. We'll have to see when they first come in.
It does for now, but the aim of the game for LavaLillies, yeah, is a slow and methodical approach, and a pick will go their way to initiate the fight. Lastro will take out Winner, however, so no tip of the spear available for the LavaLillies. The point is pretty much dominated by LavaLillies nonetheless, as Swatro will get taken out by Falcon. Lesbian will find a pick of their own. Hilda also getting one as well, as LavaLillies now looking pretty good. Merca's back on this Wrecking Ball. Gonna be a pain to remove as Alex is finally demech. They're a slow and steady approach bears fruit for the LavaLillies now, as the point surely is a matter of time to be theirs.
this is why you play the Mercy here, right? If you've been watching the kill feed for even 2 seconds, Turda has just been attached to everybody, and it has just been helping every single kill. So look at the fact they already have Valkyrie bodes very well for the Lilies in addition to their other, 2 to 3 roles that they're gonna have at the end of this. And these late fights, I mean, they're gonna get lesbian, but that'll get rezzed right out in theory, and they'll be fine for this retake.
It's actually in a really rough spot to resurrect. I don't think
maybe
it's going to get rezzed up, and this is the go button for SBD now. As you see, Merca taking a nap, but has got so many adaptive shields on this side. Klee will fall to Alex, and that is the advantage now being pressed. Asmodeus has swapped over to this Mercy as well to help Falcon in disguise, and the Tire takes out Lesbian. The res will be available, and the point's still stalled. Merca wants to drop these mines to try and seal the deal as the pulse bomb is eaten. Beautiful work by Alex now, negating ultimates. SBD looking again, slow and steady, but might have the advantage coming into this. Now, the minefield from Winner bears fruit as he finds 2 with it. Lastro and Alex go down. The nano boost committed onto the wrecking ball as well. An unorthodox pick to say the least, but it's getting the job done as Falcon scrambles to get away. Lesbian just boots him back into line of sight and will finish them off. The flip never came through for SBD.
No, the Lilies really dragged that out and committed every single thing they got into it, and it paid off in their favor, right? It's still 60 and climbing to 0. Meanwhile, on the other side, Asmodeus is finally going to that Mercy, going to offer some air support, but it might be a little too late. You're behind in the ult economy a little bit. You're behind in that Valkyrie versus, and as the bomb comes in, it's going to get Klee, so that opens it up right for them.
How on earth does Klee get caught there? But disaster to say the least as Alex picks up a second now for them. The Riptire going in just for insurance, presumably. Is an Enviro kill from Lesbian finds 2? Are you kidding me? The Pharah and the Junkrat go down to that as Lesbian picks up a 3rd kill onto Lastro. Now has this Barros if they so choose to let it loose, and they do just that. Lesbian, she really is just carrying this on their backs. I believe that was a 5k to win that fight for them. The MVP Pharah coming up clutch for the LavaLillies, and they do take Li Zhang.
Lesbian made that look so easy. She really just took that and decided that she wanted to win, so that's what she did. And I'm not sure about the Junkrat. We'll see, and you'll see it again just in case you blinked in the last 30 seconds. But I'm not sure about the Junkrat on the side of Nova. It's good versus the ball, but as the boop comes in, what a boop. Man, and the supports are just isolated there. Great tracking on the side of Lesbian too. And the play just went on there. The play just went on there. She went to get the rest of the team. She just carried the fight out on her own. And that's something you have to be aware of, right? You have to be aware that that needs more pressure than you're giving it. And I think Project SBD really just didn't take that threat seriously. You came out initially without a Mercy, thinking you were just going to be able to win the fight or something. And you didn't even swap to McCree. You had Nova on that Junkrat that didn't really do anything in addition to your own Pharah. And I guess maybe you're afraid of the ball, but you definitely now need to be afraid of Lesbian on that Pharah now. And that's definitely your key point.
Yeah, and maybe that's just a lesson learned for SBD. They're going to move on and they're actually going to market a little better. But my word, Lesbian with the absolute carry there, because it's worth reminding as well that LavaLillies were a player down. They lost Klee at the beginning of that fight.
Yeah, they were
They were 5v6. I mean, a wonderful display there from the Pharah to just absolutely carry that over and win Lijiang Tower. I mean, it could have been very different if Klee goes down and Lesbian can't clutch that out. So certainly well played. But yeah, SBD need to put target on the back of Lesbian's head now. They need to be marking them. They need to be really putting the pressure on. And like you said, the Junkrat pick just... The Riptires were getting value, but for all the time that you were spending building that ultimate, Lesbian was just carrying and killing like 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, you didn't have any pressure either on her. You had the counter Pharah, but at the same time, and you just didn't have the D.Va wasn't even bothering it. And as we go to King's Row, there's a chance you don't see that Pharah here, so maybe that's what you're expecting is here is like, okay, we're going to play more dive stuff as this is just where dive lives now. It's no longer the home of Brawl. So maybe you're expecting to not see the Pharah here and force Lesbian onto something else, that Doomfist maybe, but you still have some open skies that you got to be afraid of. And if you don't have an answer for that, you need to find one ASAP.
Yeah, absolutely you do. Like you said, though, SBD probably picking this map thinking They're likely not going to run a Pharah. Hopefully they don't run a Pharah because maybe they don't have an answer to it. Maybe SBD aren't comfortable on the hit scan and they're trying to come up with alternate solutions, whether it's mirroring the Pharah or whether it is just ignoring the Pharah and inting into the front line and hoping that works. It's certainly viable on King's Row because it's such a linear map. It means that you can just negate that Pharah if you move fast enough. And that could work for SBD, but I mean, it's all to play for, and it's their map pick as well. So really, they've got to come up with an equalizer here.
Agreed. And the equalizer may be the map pick. It may be something else. It may be just the fact that they're going to try to force them into a different comp. They looked very comfortable in that ball dive pharmacy.
Yeah.
So maybe you're trying to force them into something else. And you can see it there through the teams that Lesbian paired now with Anxiety is going to make a little bit of a difference in what happens this time around. We'll have to see what Anxiety brings to this map, but if they even put in any amount of work that Lesbian has done, there's nothing to fear if you're the Lilies.
Yeah, so I'm just very quickly checking the team sheet, and Anxiety is their hit scan player. So we're likely going to see a McCree. That wouldn't surprise me at all. You can always get away with a Widowmaker as well, but we are ready and raring to go here. Presumably this is not what either team are going to roll out on. But yeah.
I mean, we might see the ball diva again. They may feel comfortable. That may be comfortable picks. Nova's still on that Junkrat. Has to just be a comfort pick at this point. Maybe you're expecting to punish like a Rhine Shield at this point with it, and they might be pleasantly surprised if they see dive. Also very good for the dive. So I have to assume that's why you're trying to force this, right? Like, that's just the only reason.
Yeah.
See, they are going to come to Brawl. They are going to settle on the Brawl. So they are looking for shield pressure versus winner on that Reinhardt.
I mean, as far as compositions go, SBD just seem like they're not working towards the same goal. You've got very brawly DPS with a Wrecking Ball, a Diva, and then quite pokey supports. I'm not sure that it all adds up for me, so I don't know about you.
I think I see the idea here is high sustain in series, but I mean, then again, as I say this, and I commented on Nova's thing, they already have a Riptire, so
yeah,
shame on me, I guess, is they're already going to let this go and probably end this fight early if this goes, and it doesn't get any value though, so that could just be, and they're dead, and then already, Lesbian just popped off on the Doomfist in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, well, by the time the Riptire had come out, LavaLillies had already found 2 picks there for them, and they're going to cap this first point up nice and easy, as the Wrecking Ball just goes down far too quickly into that brawl with the Flashbang Fan, the Hammer. I mean, with all the damage coming through as well, the burst from the Doomfist, it's just disaster for LavaLillies. The High Noon coming out from Anxiety as well, they don't stop anytime soon, and we'll take out Asmodeus with that Dead Eye shot, finishing that off and granting them Streak Space pretty early on here. Nova goes down as well to Lesbian, who's oh so good on this Doomfist.
You need, I'm not sure about this Junkrat thing anymore. I kind of liked it when you were initially getting the value, but now you're just getting bullied by Lesbian now. You need to either set your traps a little better inward, provide yourself something, keep those mines for displacement. If you're going to stay on this and you want to make it work, but you got to do something with it. I think what Project SBD is trying to do here is give themselves like high sustain with this Mei and the Wrecking Ball, but I'm not sure. Like, so Mei is there to counter the Reinhardt and to try to isolate, but the rest of the comp doesn't follow up on that, and the bomb comes in, catches, and takes the field early, and it takes the field early. That's fine.
Yeah, it takes the field, it's a self-destruct as well. Merc has now got to get something done, however, because Lesbian is in the backlines on top of Asmodeus, and the peel is good, will force them away. Falcon takes out Anxiety as well as the Blizzard is dropped down. Nova now, with the nano boost on the Junkrat going to town, finds 2 picks of their own. They've finally seen away the Brawl comp with LavaLillies, but a lot invested here again for them, and just the Riptire to work with in the immediate future.
They might build that sound barrier coming into the net, like pre-fight, but even still, what are you saving it for? Are you saving it for Shatter? Are you saving it for the self-destruct? Like, you have to figure out what you're using that to, and even with Alex finally getting remeched, you don't have a lot to hold on this. This has to be a big hold if you want to stop this from just being run on. Bomb comes in from Hilda, gets nothing.
Okay, well that might be a blessing in disguise for Project SBD as Nova finds a pick with that Riptire again. Nova manages to get out as well as the Shatter is down, however. Winner finds a big fat Shatter, completely uncontested, and Lesbian happy to go to work. Finds picks and be beat out as well from LavaLillies. They really want to win this fight, but Lastro on the Lucio finds 2 final blows and will keep the hopes of this streak phase alive. One good thing about SBD's tank line is they're back in the fight a lot quicker than LavaLillies.
So that's exactly, and you saw it as Lesbian got caught in the trap. That's finally what you need to do. That's exactly why you want to be running this Junkrat versus the Doomfist, right? Is you want to try to catch him out. So, okay, Nova, keep it going. Maybe this is what you've got that's giving you the 2-0 so far. But keep the pressure up because you need those Riptires coming big as you got a trap in the background. The tire's active for Nova, but they're going to fall with it, Simba.
Yeah, they go down. Wootro is down as well, so just Lucio heals for either team at the moment. This is where the Doomfist might flourish, though. Very little sustain available for SBD. Self-destruct finds Alex as well, and Lesbian, I mean, is the protagonist of the anime that is LavaLillies at the moment. They unlock this checkpoint here. I can't imagine Merc is going to touch. This might buy enough time with the aid of the minefields as well, but he gets booped. He gets body blocked. He's not the one to touch, but someone on his team manages to get to the point in the nick of time. Merc will fall, however, and it is all a matter of stall at the moment, as now it's Anxiety's time to shine. We'll find 2 final blows themselves in this fight as the cart oh so very close to 3rd and final point now. Turta getting their hands dirty as well, finds a pick of their own, and that's pretty simply done, and this is where the ball is really gonna struggle.
Yeah, it's, you know, take the extra minute 30 in the clock, and the ball hasn't looked good versus this dive, honestly, if you're Merca. There's something needs to change. Falcon's going to swap to the Sombra, I guess, try to give themselves a little more space and try to take Winner possibly out, or try to get a hack onto that Baptiste and give themselves that. So the window comes out from Zordo, and this is going to be big. The high noon comes in, bomb on the other side. Let's see what catches. 2 from Alex.
Ooh, that might just keep it alive. The double elimination is going to force the Brawl comp back. One piece missing is a huge chunk of the jigsaw puzzle. Now not available for the Brawl comp of LavaLillies. They're going to have to rethink, come back in. But, I mean, the ults that they've got to boot now are still pretty good.
They won that on the back of the self-destruct there. They didn't spend anything else. And that's what you need if you're Project SBD. You need to keep yourself winning on these lower value kind of fights where you only spend 1 to win it, because Lesbian can just pop off at the wrong moment if you give her the time.
Yep, the Shadow comes down and catches Lastro, but will not fall here as Anxiety trying to deal with the thorn in the side. There is the Wrecking Ball in the backline for LavaLillies. In trouble as the beat comes down as well. Project SBD want to push this. That being said, Merca gets his little bit more than he can chew off now as Anxiety finds the second final blow. Winner's a little battered and bruised on this front line though. Chooses to just go all in, puts the chips down and finds the pin onto Alex, gets the D-Mech and forces Coalescence out of Asmodeus. The flashbang, Fan Hammer taking out Lastro now with the aid of Winner, swinging that big German hammer around the point, but the stall is looking good from SBD. That being said, it's a matter of time before this payload is moving again.
Yeah, it's just now taking the staggers out, and Falcon committed the EMP there, caught Winner and Turda, but there was no follow-up for it. There was no tire ready. There was nothing to really follow it up with. And you need to pair your ult a little better if you're SBD to just keep yourself in this fights, because you cannot continue to expect to win on one ultimate alone.
Well, one ultimate might be the difference maker, not if Anxiety can't land that Deadeye, however, keeps the hopes of SBD alive a little longer, but Merca once again the first to fall early in these fights, as a big Shadow will go down thanks to Winner now, and that's surely gonna be it for the defending team. LavaLillies have done it. They've just got the staggers to deal with, as Merca comes back on, he gets booped away, and 1 minute exactly on the clock for LavaLillies. Not a bad time if you're playing King's Row.
No, that could have been way worse, and where it be said, SBD shaved a couple minutes off that clock, so now they've got something very manageable on their end to just make it through and keep it to the second time around. I have to assume this comp is what got at Project SBD here, right? Because you don't often see a Junkrat, especially around Diamond, that's kind of a lower level pick, where like you need consistent burst damage and you need yourself to like give yourself easy value and like easy counters, so there has to be something to that in that. But meanwhile, Lesbian, they're having a field day on an incredibly tough character like Doomfist has been impeccable. The getting in, getting out with no punishment almost is most of the time has just been incredible. And maybe that's why Falcon's going to take that Sombra there to try to give themselves a little bit more of an edge versus that Doomfist. But you can't just focus all the resources into one, right? You have to stop this team as a whole, Simba.
Yeah, and this is going to be the tough thing now, is that Falcon might get good EMPs, but what do they use to follow up with? They have self-destruct maybe that could be used, but I mean, other than that, the follow-up from the last EMP wasn't looking too good. Smirka's just so deep. That being said, Lesbian is caught out that time, and Lastro will slap them in the back of the head to finish them off. Lastro very quickly brought down to earth, however, as Anxiety shoots him back to spawn. LavaLillies are slowing this down, though. They're giving the tick over as they did lose the Doomfist. But with Alex going down, this is going to be a push forward for them. They want to keep holding this LavaLillies, but SBD want to finish this ASAP. Nova does fall, however, and in trouble are the attacking side. 2 ticks on the board for them, but no cap just for now.
No, they haven't really been able to isolate anybody if you're the Project SBD. Like, there's just not been anybody really out of place. LavaLillies have been this very, very tight brawl comp, and you can't just attack one with that. You need to find a way to get somebody isolated. Zawardo's got that amplification matrix going to come in, and that's going to be a big opener for them. And you have to get them away from that window if you're going to try to win this.
Yeah, I mean, the minefield as well is going to be a big opener, but you just look at the pressure that Merca's under. Like, he goes down before he can even lay it there, and now the shatter on top from Winner is doing exactly that, coming up the winner in that exchange. I mean, when there's a guaranteed shatter on the board every minute and a half, you're going to feel pretty good playing that Reinhardt.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, that, like you said, there's no contest. There's no real way to avoid these shatters. So if you're just caught out, say you don't have the adaptive shields from your Wrecking Ball, you're just done. You're just isolated. And that's what the Brawl wants to do, is find you out and punish you for it.
Speaking of isolated there, did you see Turtle go so very low? The Riptire, however, from Nova finds 3, and this, now the dominoes will fall. LavaLillies finally look mortal as Project SBD pry the doors open on this defense. Nova setting that afire with that Riptire, but I mean, it took them 3 minutes to crack first point.
And that's kind of been their win condition, right? Is just try to burst down as many as they can with this tire as quickly as they can. For a comp that's supposed to isolate and really pick apart this Brawl comp, they've kind of done the opposite. They've just kind of dumped a lot of big burst damage in one instant to win it, and it works sometimes, but when there's 4 ults, including the High Noon that comes out, no one's going to be there, just going to have a zone out. But Nova's going to pick 2 already, and unless you can keep bursting out and enabling Nova at this point, you're not going to be able to keep this cart rolling through Street Space.
Yeah, LavaLillies are bad and bruised. There's some more heroics coming out from Nova, though, really just carrying this fight, or this map rather, on their backs. Does have another Riptire ready to go, but they've got to all be as big as the first if they want to keep this rolling and have a competitive time back.
And they need to put pressure on Nova on that Junkrat, right? Because if Nova's just uncontested, he can lob those grenades onto... He can lob those grenades in and just let them go. As both self-destructs come out, one will get Alex, and Nova will get one with a Riptire too, just to balance it out as this fight comes in, as the ultimates come in. Simba, it's gonna see, and the EMP gets committed too. They're just pressing Q right away here.
They really are, and a big EMP looking so good from SBD now. Have managed to turn around this King's Row attack. Looking really slow to start with. They should be able to get this payload in, but Hilda's gonna be able to touch this and slow it down with a beat and a High Noon available. Anxiety lets it fly and doesn't find a pick. It is a little dodgy now. The payload will go through, but that looked a little close for SBD there. They do get the job done though.
They managed to find those picks and then watch everything fall apart, like you said, and it cost them a lot of ults. Asmodeus holding on to that only ult they never really committed, and it'll have to be important when they start this fight, I think, because there's 3 on the other side, both support ults on the LavaLillies, is going to make this probably where this comes to a halt and a reset happens, Simba.
Yeah, it could be, but 4 minutes near enough on the clock, looking pretty good as Win is allowed to just push forward. No frontline pressure coming out from the tanks of SBD. That is not the goal of the Wrecking Ball or the Diva to apply pressure to this Reinhardt. It's to disrupt into the back, and with Anxiety going down. SBD kind of did their job there as far as the tanks were concerned, but with them losing one pick, wait, with a recontest from Nova, SBD, I mean, LavaLillies must have thought that that was over already, but Nova just said no, wants to keep pushing this payload, get a better time back than the Lilies, and they're looking on track to do that now.
And once you don't contest this Junkrat, I know you don't want to approach the Junkrat here because of these mines, how much burst damage is there, but you cannot let them free fire in from the back just like that, or they're going to take out Turda, and you're going to be even farther behind in these fights at the clutch moments as the High Noon comes in from Anxiety, does catch one, and that could be the turning point for this as the red is going to start to fill up Simba.
Yeah, finally, like, LavaLillies managed to stabilize, and like you said, it's going to be a matter of using an ult or two to find 1 or 2 picks advantage for LavaLillies to stabilize and reset a little bit. And I mean, when you look at LavaLillies' ultimates now, they're looking pretty good, but that EMP is coming online for Falcon.
Falcon's EMP needs to be big, and it shouldn't be too difficult because if this brawl comp plays together, you should get 4, 5, 6. But the question is, what do you do with it afterwards? Nova's gonna maybe get the tire. Bomb's gonna come in early from Hilda, catch nothing, but that's good if you're SBD. You now have that out, and Anxiety and Lesbian are just gonna carry right off the top. They're gonna get behind and make the picks to stop the fight here.
The DPS from LavaLillies have not missed a beat. They've looked so very good in this brawl comp, with the rest of them all working in such tandem. LavaLillies, music to their ears, will stave off the attack for now, but that EMP from Falcon and a Riptire, I mean, every ultimate online for SBD, that's gonna have LavaLillies sweating now.
Yeah, now you have things to follow up Falcon's EMP with, and as the tire comes out early, that's going to make him scatter, try to buy him space for it, and gets... No! Lesbian's just going to fall right onto Nova. That's the most valuable pick you could have gotten if you're Lesbian, and that's going to end the fight right away, I think, Sim.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, Alex does take out Lesbian, so they might want to recontest this, but without your queen piece, Nova, I don't think SBD are going to want to go too far forward. That being said, the EMP and the mines are lapped over the top. The High Noon is available, though, but the defense matrix stops Anxiety from pulling the trigger. The DMAC is traded out for Anxiety's life now. FBD, with so many picks going their way, Lesbian has to step up to the plate and does just that. Finds a pick, as does Winner, but Winner's number is got by Alex, and all stall mode now for LavaLillies, as Lesbian will fall. Anxiety's got to do some work and will find 2, presumably doing enough to stave off this attack a little longer.
You held off the onslaught of all those ultimates, and that says something about LavaLillies and their abilities for defense there. Lesbian recognizing now that you have to get Nova out of here if you're going to stop these fights from turning. And Lastro is going to make that switch over to the Baptiste. You're giving that the speed that I don't know that you need it anyway, so that's fine. We'll have to see how quickly they can build a window, because it's coming down to crunch time, Simba.
But who uses window in this composition? Everyone's going to be scattered away. It's going to be literally just for Lastro. The self-destruct does come out from Alex now, but the engaged self-destructs haven't really bore much fruit here. Nova going down first. 2 Anxiety spells disaster for SBD on their map pick here on Kings Row. Some heroics have got to come up with Alex getting demeched and sent off the side of the map. The numbers just aren't there. Lastro steps up and takes out Lesbian. The Doomfist one-hit potential is now missing for the defense, but the High Noon from Anxiety finds a double kill and will take LavaLillies 2-0 in the series. As Nova tries to touch, he just can't do it, and LavaLillies take Kings Row.
For a comp that's supposed to isolate and find these kinds of people who and like contest these backliners and things like that, you sure just let Anxiety run and fill you with anxiety, right? They were just free firing in, got the free High Noon off, and just you didn't contest them at all. Nova dropping in quick with those. I mean, that's absurd. Tires. You get those. That's the thing. If you're a seasoned Junkrat player, you know how to make those work, and you know how to do it right away. But the problem is, Simba, you can't win on the Junkrat tires alone, right? You have to commit the other pieces of your team for that. Whether it's the EMP, whether it's, you know, your self-destruct comes in, you have to find something else that's going to win when Nova's just not popping off. And you can see it there. Like, there's just this, even still, there's just a difference on the Doomfist that Lesbian is putting in versus Nova on that Junkrat. Like, there's just outstanding differences. Like Nova is outputting more damage, but the conversions to kills from Lesbian has just been greater overall. And that's what you really need to win these fights, right? Like you can put out all the damage in the world, but if you don't convert kills, you just don't win fights.
Yeah, and I mean, 3 of the tires got at least 2, so I mean, a lot of those final blows count for that as well. So in the mid fight, Nova was looking a little quiet, and like you said, damage is obviously going to be what Junkrat does best, but Doomfist just going to show, thanks to Lesbian, that you don't need damage to get those kills, and the final blows in droves for Lesbian, they're looking really, really good. LavaLillies are 2-0 up in the series. We're gonna go to a short break here. It's match point for them, however, so stick around to see if SBD can hit that reverse sweep or if it's a 3-0 central for the LavaLillies. We'll see you just... Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and it's time to get good over on the EU side. We've got the LavaLillies up against Project SBD. LavaLillies running away with it at the moment and looking on fire, if I do say so myself. I mean, they've looked so good.
Yeah, they've been really clean, Simba. Like the comps they've put out have all looked really good, and Lesbian has just been on fire from start to finish. And as we go to Junkertown, I'm scared we're going to see more of Lesbian's Pharah just raining down on Project SBD, who doesn't really have an answer and isn't really doing anything to keep themselves alive versus it, right?
Yeah, well, we're seeing Nova only play the Junkrat for SBD, and as impactful as the Junkrat has been, it's not been enough at the moment. And I don't know if you're Nova, now are you looking and saying, look, I'm doing my job, we need someone else to deal with the Pharah, but nobody is stepping up right now. And it's just been, I mean, LavaLillies DPS are dominating this series at the moment, as much as Nova is getting value. But SBD taking LavaLillies to Junkertown offers those big wide sightlines, so we might see Pharah or Echo come out from SBD. But Anxiety's been so good for LavaLillies on the hit scan. So how do you counter this comp?
So let's talk about everybody's favorite thing that we all know about is Peel, right? Because in a world where you have a Pharah in the sky and you have a McCree in the background, you have to do something to keep your important members. If you're going to go all in on Nova on this Junkrat, you need to put the resources into making sure that they stay alive to fight, to contest this McCree, to go ahead and yeet mines at Pharah in the sky, whatever you're going to do. Because if you're not going to enable Alex on that Diva to contest the Pharah, you have to find something, right? Because the other part of that is just now focus fire. And maybe we're going to see some Australian courage come through on the side of Nova in this Junkrat. But we'll have to see what happens, because it looks like this is probably not gonna stay. I don't know if they're gonna keep. Are they gonna keep this? Oh, that's an early pick from Anxiety. You can't do that if you're Lastro. You can't just throw yourself out there for sight.
No, I mean, that's complete and utter disaster with Lastro going down. Anxiety will fall to Merca shortly thereafter, but the offense are always going to feel better about trading a pick out like that. And like I said, Anxiety on this hit scan has not missed a beat. Merca does find a second final blow as well, but will pay for it with their lives, as this Sigma Hog poke comp is going to be very difficult for the Wrecking Ball to stay in the fight for too long. So
you have several more answers, you know, like we were kind of talking about, and it doesn't matter. Anxiety's just going to go ahead and just do whatever they want to pick up anyways. So we could talk about how Winner's just going to go ahead and hook everybody in and make picks, but Anxiety's already just clutching uncontested again in the back line as Asmodeus goes down, and you need to swap to do something. Merca's going to opt into Orisa, which is not the answer I would have picked, versus the Widow, so sure. But we'll see.
Ironically, right? Ironically, the one place that you'd be all right playing Wrecking Ball is against Anxiety's Widow, and then swapped onto the Orisa. The whole hog takes out Merca, and the point surely's just unlocked easy as pie for LavaLillies now, who are storming ahead on SBD's map pick, Junkertown, with 5 minutes on the clock and then some. I mean, this is so dangerous.
You're playing this bunker into a high output damage, like double off-tank comp, and why? You kind of, like you said, like the Wrecking Ball's the better pick. Even the Winston, to create some sort of disruption in the backline where, like, you don't have anybody. Winner has to toddle over there. Hilda has to float over there. You have speed on your side if you want to break this and get on Anxiety and stop these picks from falling. But I guess that's a choice. They're just going to catch Winner out, so I guess that's a good pick to start.
Okay, yeah, finally that's been caught out, but Clean wants to use this EMP, does just that. Catches 4 in their grasps, and it's just fish in a barrel for Anxiety now. We'll take out Merker, and the damage is certainly done, even though it was a 5v6 to start that off. Falcon does take out Anxiety, but it's not nearly enough in the allotted time, and LavaLillies happy to keep on moving.
I guess the lesbian put in their allotted amount of carry time today because Anxiety has just stepped up 100-fold, and there's still no contest, right? This Anxiety has just been left to free fire in the background, and there's nothing short of the Hanzo to contest that for Falcon. Like Falcon has to do something if they're going to make a play to stop Anxiety from winning this.
And a huge Gravitic Flux comes out, and it's just easy pickings for LavaLillies once more to win this over. Merker does fall as well as Wootro. Happy as Larry on this high ground to just go to town. Has this Transcendence, but has not had a call to use it the entire map. And going into third point now, still 5 minutes on the clock, more or less, for LavaLillies. SBD look like they're floundering a little bit here.
They look lost, Simba. They look like they don't know what to do about this. And I'm not sure if there's just something in the water, if the Junkrat is just not getting enough support, but you're just getting bullied. As Nova is going to take out Klee and kind of tilt the balance back and forth. They just don't have any contest. And Last was again going to fall to a headshot from Anxiety from jumping. There has to be more, and it's good to see finally some pressure onto Anxiety by Alex.
Yeah, I mean, but again, Lastra uses his rocket boots to jump up right into the sights of Anxiety. Not learned their lesson since the first time, unfortunately. He has this EMP ready to go. There's a Transcendence and a Rally as well, so there's so much that can just win this right now for LavaLillies.
Yeah, and there's two. The EMP comes out, and that's just going to be the end of it. They're going to commit the rest of the ults just to keep this cart moving, and the cart never really stopped, Simba, as Turda just going to finally get in there and just bully their way through the rest of the support line. They're at the spawn doors, they're knocking. There's nothing that SBD can do here.
No, it's really rough. Asmodeus goes down as well, and a fat Gravitic Flux from Hilda will get everyone on SBD so very low before they even get to the point. Maybe Diva staggers on battered and bruised, but no way in hell. They're holding on to that when LavaLillies are on fire and on form. 3.5 minutes on the clock for them.
LavaLillies just absolutely ran it. They knew exactly what they wanted to do. They had every single pick in their favor. This is a rehearsed map for them. This is worst case scenario, Simba, so you gotta turn something up if you're Project SBD, and I don't know if they have the answer for it right now.
Yeah, this is like you said, this is literal nightmare fuel for Project SBD. They picked King's Row, they lost quite narrowly actually on King's Row, and now you go to your second map pick and you get rolled on your defense, and it just doesn't bode well. Falcon looking like it's a Hail Mary moment with the Bastion might very well come out.
It's very possible we see this pirate ship kind of Bastion that comes out, which is, you know what, I'll take it because it's a different look from them that may make some sort of an impact here. But if Anxiety's just left to continue to free fire out on Widow, there's just not going to be anything they can do about it. Like the Bastion's literally a sitting duck at that point, right?
It is, but you should be able to pressure out LavaLillies' shields before your own get broken. With only a Hanzo and a Widow to pressure those out, looks like SBD should be allowed some space here. Winner goes on that flank and tries to get a pick. Anxiety will take out Falcon, however, and that is a large amount of damage missing as Anxiety is in the back line. They've gone for the Great Gamboozle, and they take out Nova as well. Anxiety really making SBD sweat now as they are really on form.
Yeah, they're really forcing some anxiety on SBD, and they're going to give it up and go to Falcon's going to give it up, go to the May. Where was this brawl, Simba? Where was this brawl comp like 2 maps ago? This is it. This was beautiful. You should have had this in King's Row forever ago, and it stands that they can make this work, right? They have the tools now to make this work.
They can, but they've set themselves already up for a really big time deficit. Nova does find a pick and trades out for Merker there, who will fall, but coming back to the point, LavaLillies have got a stranglehold on this high ground, and the Gravitic Flux comes out as well from LavaLillies. Hilda lets loose and will send some players skywards, and that will stave off the attack once again.
So I am really, they're just gonna do as best they can. I am excited to see this brawl come out, but I'm gonna say this is probably not what you should be doing here, right? You're against double sniper, double off tank. You need to pressure Anxiety and Klee, otherwise they're just going to take flank angles and punish you. And you're not even going to be able to approach on them. You don't have speed here, so you can't run at them as fast as you can. As the rally comes out from Lastro, they're running into the frontline tanks and just unfortunately taking it all to the face of the...
Yeah, they're pressing W, but the problem is that LavaLillies aren't right in front of them. They're up on these high grounds and off angles, and that is exactly a Brawl's worst nightmare. Seems as though SBD are pulling out these strats at the worst time possible. Merca needs to go back to this Wrecking Ball. We need to see more diverse attacking angles, but a commitment to the Brawl now coming out. Merca finally heard me and has made the swap.
Yeah, but that's the only swap we've gotten, right? You still have this May and this Junkrat who are gonna be slow to get any value, and Merca's just gonna get forced right out of them as Klee just burns him down. There finally is going to be a pick on Anxiety though, so maybe you could turn something if you're SBD.
Never mind, it's just not missing shot. Unbelievable work from the Hanzo there. Both DPS from LavaLillies have been so very good this series, and the formations that LavaLillies are working with to just control these high grounds, ignore the cart, let the Brawl comp, which is no longer a Brawl comp, go to the cart, and just ignore it because you're going for picks, is beautifully done.
That's the thing. You don't care where the card is, you have all the other angles in the world, and especially when your snipers are still uncontested all this time through. Finally, we're getting Mercus going on the back and getting some contest up as the bomb comes in and gets nothing. You have to do something to pressure them out. Nova's gonna throw in the tire on a Hail Mary, maybe get one. Nope, it's gonna get taken out along the way.
Oh, the tire gets nothing, but Alex takes out Anxiety. It's just a case of how quickly can SBD capitalize on this advantage. They find nothing. Lastro takes out Swootro, and there might be a re-engage coming out from the defense, but the offense are being forced back and away from the payload now. Finally, it seems like the dam is being opened. The Blizzard's committed, though. Disaster coming through from the attacking side as they're all brought aloft, and the Gravitic Flux from Hilda takes out Falcon with the Blizzard gone as well. It's feeling hot. No Blizzards over here. Winner with a clean hook to take out Nova, and the whole hog out now, just putting salt into the wound as LavaLillies really operating at a different temperature to SBD. They're in desperation form at the moment. It's a spin to lose, unfortunately. Coming out from Merca as the dominant team, with dropping the Twinings as well on top from Winner, who has done just that. A 3-0 series in favor of LavaLillies, and what a demonstration.
That's how you run these comps, right? If you were to look and say, I need to see what a good double sniper comp looks like, or I need to see what these look like, I would just show you this reel, right? Because Anxiety, with the play of the game here, is this probably the one where it's the double headshot, if my guess is correct? We can ignore those first three, but these next two are probably going to be super big.
Yeah, it's the joke, right?
It's the double headshot there. And that's the thing, right? Anxiety was just never contested. Anxiety was just left to free fire, and you cannot allow that to happen. Throughout the entirety of the match, the theme is do not let the DPS go uncontested, because when they do, they will just carry because the rest of the pieces are working fine, the space is made, and that's a textbook how to lose a game, Simba.
Yeah, I mean, SBD had a lot of good ideas coming into that series. They wanted to run the Wrecking Ball to disrupt. They wanted to get the Wrecking Ball to pressure the Widow. But they seemed to pull out the wrong strategy on the wrong map each time. Like, they ran the Wrecking Ball with the poke comp on King's Row, and then when they went to Junkertown, a larger, more open map where you can get away with that sort of thing, you tended to not see them run their what seemed comfort picks. And I mean, you look at how free Anxiety was on this Widowmaker. 21 elims coming out, 12 final blows, and a pretty damn good accuracy as well. And if a Widow's hitting all their shots so I mean, there's not much you can do.
No, but I mean, you could. The answer, I dare say, there is something you could do. The answer is not let them hit all the shots, right? Because if you just let the Widow take those free shots, like, you're going to get the 27% scoped accuracy, right? Like, they're just going to get that 50% every single shot hits. And all those final blows that come in probably could have been prevented had you just had a Reinhardt shield sooner, had you had the Winston or the Diva on them. And it's stuff that I think this is a good lesson, right? As as you go forward, it's your first loss, and maybe you've kind of gotten here on the back of Nova on that Junkrat, which is fine. But you have to take this and go forward and say, okay, this is what probably one of the better teams in our division looks like. Let's learn from this loss. Let's review the VODs and come back stronger for our next match.
Yeah, and SBD, like I said, they've got some good shining moments. I mean, Nova's Junkrat was insane. The Riptires were clearly very rehearsed, and they were very, very good at executing on those. They just need a more definitive mid-fight, perhaps, and then you're off to the races. And team compositions on the right maps.
Definitely. I think the team play was a little off, right? Something in the calling wasn't there. The focus kills from the team wasn't quite there. We never really got to see them, I think, at their peak. And for whatever reason, I don't think this was the SBD we were expecting to see today, and something maybe to do to that. But we'll find out hopefully when we see them later in the season, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That is going to wrap up the series LavaLillies versus Project SBD.